This is Mary with the onboarding team here at ServiceMonster. In this video, we'll be covering some of the basics with using the schedule on ServiceMonster. Scheduling is an incredibly important part of our jobs. That's why we want to make sure that you get everything up and running in the way that you want it to when it comes to using the schedule. In this video, we'll be covering the basics of navigating the schedule, what the sidebar is, setting up appointment color coding, and creating routes. On ServiceMonster, there are two main ways to get to the schedule. You can either click on Scheduling in the left-hand side menu and then select Schedule, or you can click on the New Scheduling window button on the top menu bar, which will open up the schedule for you on a new page. Here's our schedule. The schedule is broken down into days and then routes. All appointments will then be assigned to routes. You can navigate the schedule by clicking on the arrows next to the date. The single arrows allow you to move forward or back one day, and the double arrows allow you to move forward or back 1 week. You can also click on the date, which will open up a calendar that you can use to hop forward or back to a specific day. Need to get back to the current week? No problem. Next to that is our This Week button that you can click on to get back to the current week. Next to that is our Refresh button. This refreshes the schedule, which is handy for if you have anyone else scheduling appointments. Next to that is a drop-down menu where you can select what routes you can see. It's currently set as all resources, which means we can see all of our routes, but you can instead select a specific route or specific route group to look at. Then we have our details box. When this box is checked, that means you'll be able to see the appointment details on the appointment cards directly on the schedule. If this is unchecked, appointment cards will appear as simple, colorful blocks. Then, next to that, you can select how many days you can see on the schedule at one time. Just keep in mind, the more days you have on here, the more likely it is that you'll have to scroll over to the right in order to see all of those days. Then we have another drop-down menu where you can select how big the half-hour or 15-minute increments on the schedule appear as. The smaller they are, the more of the day you can see, but the bigger they are, the more of the appointment details you can see. Next to that is our map. Clicking on the map button opens up a map in the lower section of the schedule. Here you'll be able to see your dispatch location represented as a red triangle, and then all of your stops for the day represented as flags. This is also color-coded by route based off of the route icon's color. Then we have our sidebar button. Clicking on this opens or closes the sidebar. The sidebar contains 3 tabs. The first one is the Schedule tab, which shows you all scheduled appointments and activities. The next is the On Deck tab, which is an area that you can hold unscheduled appointments, either ones that need to be scheduled and you haven't been able to get in contact with the client yet, or need to be rescheduled and have been pulled off the schedule. Then we also have the Waiting tab. The Waiting tab is a perfect place to hold appointments that you want to be able to schedule earlier, but you can't quite fit them in. That way, if you do have an appointment that changes earlier in the week and you are able to fit them in, you can easily drag and drop appointments from the waiting list onto the schedule. Appointments can be easily moved around on the schedule. You can either click on the top bar of the appointment card to drag and drop the appointment to a different location. You can drag and drop it into the On Deck box to remove it from the schedule to reschedule it later, or you can also double click on an appointment to open up its details and adjust the start time and date right from in there. Next to our Schedule button, we have our Route packet. A route packet is a packet of information that you can easily download and print off to give to you or your technicians to break down what the day is going to look like. These packets are customizable as well, so you can choose what information is or is not included in. Just keep in mind, a lot of the information that is available on a route packet is also available on the ServiceMonster mobile app. Then we have our settings. Clicking on this opens up a window where you can view and adjust your settings. This is also where we can set up our appointment color coding, as well as adjust a few other details with how the schedule works and looks. In this first general tab, we can add in our dispatch location. This is the location that you or your team are heading out from. It's not client-facing, so it doesn't necessarily have to be your business address. And this location is important because the color coding for all of your appointments will be based on this. On this page, you can also adjust your business hours. Anytime earlier or later than that on the schedule will appear as grayed out. Here you can also set your maximum driving range, which you can think of as being the furthest you're willing to drive out in any one direction. region, and this also connects with our appointment color coding. Here, you can also select if you would like there to be a small radius zone around your dispatch location, where all of the appointments that are really close to you will be color-coded as gray, as well as if you want the appointment details to appear when you hover your mouse over them. Lastly, on this page, you can adjust your schedule interval, so you can choose if you want the schedule to be on a 15-minute or half-hour interval. Next, we can move into the Appointment Details tab. Here is where you can adjust how wide your appointment cards will appear, as well as what information can possibly appear on the appointment cards. Here you can pick and choose whatever you think will be most helpful for you. Next, we can move into the Display tab. Here you can adjust if the routes appear alphabetically, if their name or icon appears, and if the total for the route or the day appear on the schedule. On this page, you can also customize what the first day of the week will show up as. It's currently set as just showing the current day as the first day of the week, but you can change this to any weekday that'll work best for you. And then finally, we can head to our Colors tab. You can kind of think of this as being a color-coded compass, with your dispatch location in the center, and then all of the appointments that you have color-coded based on this. The way I have this currently set up, all of my appointments that are north of me will be color-coded red, east of me are blue, south of me are green, and west of me are yellow. Here you can choose how many colors will appear on the color wheel. You can make it super simple, just have 4 north, south, east, west, or go all the way up to a full gradient and have all of the colors. From what I understand, 8 to 12 colors are kind of the most common options, but you can pick whatever you would prefer. You can also adjust what color is facing north here. Myself, living in Bellingham, Washington, I'm incredibly close to the Canadian border, so I typically choose red to face north to represent Canada. But you can adjust this however you think is going to work best for you. Say, have blue facing a body of water or green facing a forest. Once you've entered in your dispatch location and made the adjustments that you want to your color wheel here, when you click OK, all of your appointments will be color-coded. The handy thing with this as well is when you go to schedule an appointment, say with a quick ad, as soon as that account that you're creating or working with has an address entered in with it, that account will immediately be color-coded. So you'll be able to see right away what region that account is located in. Now let's hop into creating routes. Routes can be created to represent different things. You can use them to create teams, they can represent specific vehicles, they can represent specific employees, you can have technicians versus office staff. You can kind of set them up however is going to work best for you and your scheduling needs. To create a route, click on Scheduling in the left-hand side menu, and then select Routes. On this page, you can view and edit any of your current routes, and you can also create a new route by clicking on the Plus Route button. Here, you can enter in a number of details about this route. You can give it a name, you can assign specific employees or users to it, you can choose what the route icon is going to look like, you can set the default duration for the appointments, and you can also add in a route tag or route group. Route groups are a way of connecting routes in different ways. These can represent, say, specific people that are on the team and on this route. They can represent specific equipment or work that this route does. However, organizationally is going to work best for you. Remember, these route groups can also be used on the schedule with that All Resources drop-down menu. When you click Save, once you've finished creating your route will be added onto the schedule. That covers some of the basics when it comes to setting up and using your schedule. On the schedule, as well as with many pages within ServiceMonster, there's a question mark icon in the upper right-hand corner. Clicking on this will take you to the relevant help page for that. So that takes me to our scheduling page. Here you can find more details about how to set up what we've covered in this video. I hope that you all are having a fantastic day, and make sure to reach out if you have any more questions when it comes to using the schedule on ServiceMonster. I'll talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.